Welcome to Almost Here, Round the Corner Future Technology podcasts with Richard Jacobs. Future technologies poised to transform our lives for better or worse are the focus of this podcast. Almost here means these technologies are now here and starting to be used, or just around the corner, from Bitcoin to artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.
Hello, this is Richard Jacobs with the Future Tech Podcast. My guest today is Amir Inditzky, the CEO of a company called Dayzz, D-A-Y-Z-Z. And we're going to be talking about what they're doing in the world of sleep. So, Amir, how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this conversation will be so interesting that no one will fall asleep. But
I really hope so, that it will be the first time that no one actually goes to sleep.
Very good. So tell me about the premise of Dayzz. What's the company about?
So actually, Dayzz is developing sleep improvement solution. Now, the way we tackle this problem, which is in the rise these days, is that opposed to other solutions that are focusing in monitoring or either focusing in treatment in a certain disorder, specific disorders like sleep apnea or insomnia, Dayzz, what we're trying to do or developing is a holistic, comprehensive solution from the assessment stage, because most of the people actually don't know why they are tired. They just know that they are tired and they have a problem, but they don't know what exactly is their disorder. And therefore, a lot of them are trying solution that does not suit their actual disorder. And in the good case, they can just do nothing. In the worst case, they can harm themselves because they're using the wrong solution for their disorder. So Dayzz is, first of all, is doing an assessment for the user, and then according to the assessment, we tailor a personalized sleep training program that actually is we are combining or we smart mixing several kinds of solutions, which are already, some of them are in the market, like CBT, relaxation sessions, sleep hygiene, obviously, nutrition, exercise, etc. And we are personalized, mixing all of these together in order to create for you a personalized sleep training plan.
Yeah, I mean, from what I know, everyone's had problems with sleep at one time or another. So, there's a whole bunch of things that I would do. Like I have blackout curtains, and I try to keep the room cool, and I'll take melatonin, and turn off all alarms and lights and all that stuff.
Yeah. So first of all, it's very important to say that our target audience is people who really suffer from sleep disorders. It's not like you had a bad week at work, or maybe you had bad thoughts for 3 days or so, and then everything is okay. We're talking about people who really suffer from sleep disorder for years and years or months, and they can't sleep. They really have a high awareness for sleep solutions. They are searching for sleep solutions. They need sleep solutions. Now, what they have today in the traditional health system is, for most of them, actually, there is no solution, because for a lot of chronic diseases, as you probably know, the traditional health system cannot support you along the way of behavioral changes that you need to do in order to treat your disorder. And this is what Dayzz is trying to do with our proprietary algorithm, in order to learn about you by collecting data about you, and then tailored and personalized and adjust over time the solution especially for you.
So what are some of the top reasons you see people have, they're tired all the time, or they're just not sleeping well? Are there any categories?
So obviously there is the sleep apnea, and this is something that we can help you with the CPAP adherence or other solutions to solve this problem. And I have to say that in a lot of cases of sleep apnea, we can even create or help you to put the CPAP aside and maybe even get better in such a way that you will not need any third-party solution. So this is for sleep apnea. But in other disorders like insomnia, circadian sleep disorders, restless leg, etc., we see very high linkage between what we call type A personality and sleep disorders. So it's a lot about mental issues, anxiety, stress at work, stress at your workplace, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a lot about your sleep hygiene and how you treat your sleep, how you treat your days, actually, which is something which is very important in days in our company because a lot of sleep solutions actually target only the time that you are in bed and they're trying to help you to go to sleep or to improve your sleep quality. But actually, most of the things that affect your sleep quality happens during the day. It's what you eat, is what you do between while you work at the office, and what you do when you go out with friends, and when do you have spare time for just thinking about stuff. So a lot of things that happens during the day has a huge effect of what happens during the night, and this is why we collect data about the end user 24/7.
So what do you find out about the people that have problems sleeping? What do you ask them to collect during their day, and what do you notice that are there any trends that affect a lot of people's sleep negatively?
Yeah. So first of all, we created a proprietary assessment, which is a questionnaire, and when you onboard the app, you need to answer a few questions. It's not a lot, but you need to answer a few questions related to your lifestyle and sleep habits. Usually, after this short questionnaire, we have a very good assumption of your problem, and actually these days we are validating our questionnaire or our remote assessment protocol to see if we can very accurately diagnose your sleep disorder opposed to the golden standard, which is a sleep doctor or sleep lab. So this is what we're doing today in hospitals, also in the United States and in Israel, to see that we can remote diagnose very accurately. So after you onboard the app, behind the scenes, we probably know in a very good accuracy exactly what your problem is, and then we can tailor you a specific plan. But just after that, we keep collecting data, obviously, from a lot of sources. Some of them are related to your mobile behavior. So if you're using Facebook until 3 o'clock in the night, you're not sleeping. And obviously you can sync your wearable device like Fitbit, etc. And then we can measure your sleep patterns, and then we can adjust the plan according to a better diagnostic and better knowing your lifestyle, which is very important to say that most of the data that we collect about the user helps us to create a very personalized dialogue and motivation for you to keep on track with the plan, and not just to accurately diagnose, because we can very accurately diagnose quite fast just after onboarding the app. But it's very important to us to analyze and to understand your lifestyle in order to help you to be on track of the plan.
Okay. So what kind of surprising insights have you seen from all the work you've done about people's sleep? What can you share about that?
Yeah. So first of all, I think that the most surprising fact that I saw during the last year or so is that how many people actually suffer from sleep disorders. Because every time we pitch the company, it doesn't matter if it's investors, if it's collaborations, other company, PR companies, you name it. It doesn't matter, technological company, just friends in Friday night. Everyone that I'm telling them about our solution, there will be always one person in the room that will say, I need this solution. I'm not sleeping well. I have a sleeping disorder. So it's something that not a lot of people are talking about, but as soon as you give them the stage to talk about it, they are, seeking for solution, because there are not very good solutions in the market today to treat real sleep disorders. So I think that the most amazing thing is how many people really suffer from sleep disorders. I think that the second thing is how miserable they are. It's a very, very tough disorder. It's a very tough situation, and you can see people that actually don't sleep for weeks and months and their awareness for seeking solution is so high that some of the people that we treat as part of our pilots or clinical trials actually are knocking on our office door asking for a solution. They are so into the treatment that they really want to treat themselves so badly that it's very impressive or very surprisingly to see, because I can give you an example. When you onboard the app, you need, as I said before, to answer some questions, and obviously as part of the user experience, user interface design, we thought that this onboard question will be like a friction point. So we will be a lot of people leaving the onboarding process. But exactly as I saw years ago when I worked for the financial industry and we wanted to sell online credit, when person wants to get credit, he will answer almost every question that you will ask him because he really wants the credit. And it is exactly like the same here. He really wants the solution. He really wants to sleep better. And you don't see people that do not answer the questions. So actually, the questionnaire is not a friction point, although we thought it will be a friction point, but it's not, because they really want a solution so badly that the work that they're willing to do in order to get value is very high.
Okay, so you're saying people are resistant to filling in the questions, or they're not filling them in accurately, or you really can't depend on that and you have to observe them when they're not thinking about it in order to get accurate measurements on what will really help them?
So actually in sleep, opposed to a lot of other medical issues, the diagnosis is based on a lot of subjective data. So a person actually can tell you that he sleeps 7 hours a night, but then when you sync a Fitbit device or you sync any other device, you can see that he actually sleeps for 9 hours, or on the opposite direction, he actually sleeps for 4 hours. So there is a gap between how you grasp your sleep and how you really sleep. And in healthy people, the gap between the subjective and the objective data is really small, because most of the people really know and they can feel how much time it will take them to fall asleep. It is around 5 to 15 minutes. But with people who actually suffer from sleep disorders, the gap is much it's much higher, and is something that actually we put into our algorithm in order to tailor the solution. And therefore, the data, according to the end user, is accurate, but according to the objective data, it's not accurate. And this gap is something that we need to address. And this is part of our algorithm and a part of our tailoring the solution to. And this is one of the reasons that we want to sync devices and to collect data just after we did the assessment, because the gap between the subjective and the objective data is a very important part of tailoring the solution.
So what are people, how long does it take to collect data on average? And then what kind of experiences have people told you they've had, and how long does it take to see results?
Okay, so as I said before, we get a very good assessment just after the onboarding questionnaire, and afterwards we can collect data in order to know more about your lifestyle, when you eat lunch, when you go to bed, when you exercise, etc., etc. It takes us about 7 to 10 days in order to get a good profile about the person, about the user, and then it is very personal how long that it will take you to improve your sleep. But in average, it's about 8 to 10 weeks of protocol. But what happens with sleep, and this is very important to say, it's very similar to diet or to exercise, because it includes behavior changes. And therefore, a lot of people actually can improve their sleep after 8 or 10 weeks of protocol. And then they will put the app aside or the assistant aside. And then maybe in 6 months or so, they will suffer again from anxiety or maybe from something which triggers them, the sleep disorder again, and then they will need to go over the protocol again, but what we hope is that they will keep the app on their mobile phone after they know that actually Dayzz helps them to improve their sleep, and then they will go and use it again. Exactly like aspirin that you have in your shelf. You don't use it every day, but if you have a headache, you know that the solution is in your closet and you can use it. So this is the pattern that we see with sleep disorders. They come and go. It's not something that you solve and you will not see it again.
Interesting. And why does it take so many weeks for them to start feeling better? And it seems like people would get discouraged if they try it for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then it takes 8 weeks to get a result.
Yeah, so it takes 8 weeks in order to really improve your sleep and to understand that you achieve something. But obviously, along the way, the training program is designed in such a way that you get quick wins along the way. We use gamification and we use a lot of data in such manner that it helps you to understand that you are improving, even though maybe you're not feeling it just 2 days or 3 days after starting the protocol. But it's really step-by-step improvement, and it takes 8 to 10 weeks in order for you to finish the training and to be like a master of how to sleep. This is first of all, so you get quick wins along the way. The second main issue is, as I said before, is very subjective. So maybe I can sleep for 4 hours and I will feel great, and you will sleep for 4 hours and you will be very tired. So it takes some time for the algorithm in order to understand what helps you and actually doesn't help me, and we need to adjust the training along the way. And what actually defines at the end if you sleep better, it's not the objective data that maybe you started with 5 hours of sleep and today you sleep for 7 hours. But what actually defines at the end of the training program if you sleep better is the way you see yourself sleeping better. So this is it takes some time in order for you to understand and to believe in your sleep quality and sleep ability, and we call it sleep training. It's very similar to training in diet or to training in exercise or in every other training. So it's a step-by-step improvement. There is no magic solutions for sleep disorders.
Yeah, no, I'm sure there's not. What's the feedback you get from people, though? Are they surprised at what works for them, or are they, do they feel like a lot better, a little bit better? What are they saying?
Yeah, so there is a range of comments that we get with our focus group and pilots that we're doing. Obviously, some of the people get really amazing results. Some of the people get good results, and some of the people get lousy results, and it's okay. Our average result is better than what they can get with a doctor. So, and this is the comparison, because when you go to a sleep doctor and you meet him, which is not very accessible because there are not a lot of sleep doctors, but if you find someone and he will give you a protocol to do, and then he will ask you to come back in 2 months or so to see if you got any improvement. Actually, you stay at home with the protocol, written on a paper, and you need to do it by yourself. 99% of the people actually will do nothing because it's very hard. It's very hard to stop smoking. It's very hard to start an exercise. It's very hard to start and keep on a diet. And it's very hard to do this sleep training program. But if you're using Dayzz, the app actually learns your lifestyle, and we help you by the gamification, notification, by giving you the best models for you and attach the best solutions and the best training models are correct for your lifestyle. And this actually helps you to keep on the plan. So actually the science of sleep disorders or how to treat sleep disorders, this is not the big issue with sleep training or digital health for sleep solutions. The big holy grail is how do you keep people to keep on track and to do the training until the end. And as you said before, not to be disencouraged and leave the plan. This is the main issue, and
Right.
this is exactly where all the data of days that we are collecting, this is what we're using it for, in order to keep you on the plan and to do it day by day.
Well, last question or so. What is the training involved? Like, what's an example of some training that you've told certain people to do?
Yeah, so obviously there are models, in, as you said before, that are part of sleep hygiene, which is how your room temperature is, the light, surrounding, etc., etc. So this is like the basic stuff. And then there are a lot of relaxation sessions, like meditations, obviously by voice. There are a lot of nutrition recommendations, caffeine and alcohol recommendations and models that helps you, and reminders for not using it or when to use alcohol and caffeine. There are a lot of models that actually relates to specific sleep disorder, like circadian disorders, that we help you to sync your biological circadian clock to the real world clock, which is very difficult, and we help you to train and to move this biological clock day by day. And I'm telling you, it's very difficult to do it, because actually we tell you not to go to sleep in a certain hour. We give you tasks and give you ideas of what to do during your time out of bed, because we told you just to get to bed at 3 a.m. and you need to get up at 7 a.m. Therefore, you will get not sufficient sleep for a certain period, and what actually stands behind it is to get you to a point that you will be very tired in a specific time, and over time, this circadian clock will adjust with the real world clock. So this is like an example for circadian disorder. We have a lot of CBTI sessions for insomnia, and a lot of recommendations and motivation tools for CPAP adherence, etc. So it's very depends on your specific sleep disorder, but we are using all of what the medical world has to offer, and we mix it in a very smart, personalized way.
Gotcha. Okay. And the name of the app is Dayzz, or does it have a different name?
So the name of the app is Dayzz, which is a combination, obviously, of day and double Z, which is nights, and the focus is exactly on what you're doing along the way in order for you to sleep better along the night, during the night. So the name of the app is Dayzz.
Is it available on Android and iOS, or where can people download it?
So people will be able to download it very soon. It's going to be actually in the stores next week, but the first version will be as a startup. First version, it's going to be not all the models will be part of the app, so I believe that it will take about a month or so. So at the beginning of November, I believe that all the models will be up and working, including the device sync, etc., and it's going to be available in Android and iOS.
Okay. Well, very good. And what's the best way for people to find out more for now? Should they go to a website, or how should they contact you?
Yeah, so they are more than welcome to visit our dayzz.com website. And it's very important to say, I'm not sure that we talked about it, but our main business model, where we're aiming to, is to improve sleep in the workplace in order to improve productivity, to lower the risk, and to lower the healthcare system utilization. So actually, our clients, or where we're aiming to, is self-insured employers. But it's going to be available in the stores because, first of all, we want to fulfill our mission, which is to help people sleep better. And we are getting up in the morning every day to the office in order to help people sleep better. But obviously, we need downloads in order to get a lot of data to improve our algorithm and to improve the product, which will be, at the end, presented to self-insured employers.
Okay. Well, very good. Well, Amir, thank you for coming on the podcast, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
You have been listening to Almost Here, Around the Corner Future Technology podcast with Richard Jacobs. Subscribe to this podcast, post a review to discover more future technologies that are poised to transform our lives for better or worse, such as Bitcoin, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.